Welcome to the first of our remote talks. Our first talk will be Supercharge Your Django Apps, Unveiling Performance Secrets with the Magic of Django Silk by Kohli. Please, take it away.
Thank you for the introduction. So, hi everyone, I'm Vishrut. I am a senior software engineer at Milkbasket. Milkbasket is one of India's most popular grocery e-commerce platforms, delivering fresh groceries to your doorstep at 7 a.m. in the morning through a subscription model. So, my Python journey began in my college days from hosting a server on my Raspberry Pi to today, where I'm developing highly performant software for Milkbasket that handles over 1 million orders daily. So if you are interested in connecting, find me on Twitter as LazyCoder7 or on LinkedIn. I'm always eager to discuss and innovate with fellow tech enthusiasts. In this talk, we are going to cover the following things. Why do we need performance monitoring? What is Django Silk? How to install and configure Django Silk? How to profile your application? Optimizing database queries, best practices, and questions. So, there are no hard prerequisites for this talk. You should only be having some basic knowledge of Python, Django, and web development. Why do we need performance monitoring? So in today's world, performance monitoring serves as a critical pillar of success. It's the lens through which we gain insights into the inner workings of our systems, helping us uncover inefficiencies, bottlenecks, potential problems before they escalate. This vigilance not only ensures the smooth operation of our application, but also enhances the user experience, safeguarding against the frustration of slow or unresponsive software. Performance monitoring empowers us to optimize resource usage, make data-driven decisions, and plan for future growth. In a sense, performance monitoring is the compass that guides us our journey towards efficient, reliable, and user-centric software systems. So, what is Django Silk? Django Silk is a powerful and versatile performance profiling and optimizing tool designed specifically for Django applications. It provides developers with valuable insights into how their Django applications are performing, enabling them to identify and resolve performance bottlenecks effectively. With Django Silk, you can monitor various aspects of your application, including SQL queries, rendering times, cache usage, and much more, all in real time. This tool offers a seamless integration with your Django project, allowing you to track and analyze requests and responses, pinpointing slow performing queries or views, or even URLs. By harnessing Django Silk's capabilities, you can fine-tune your Django application for optimal performance, resulting in faster response times, improved user experience, and the ability to scale your applications with confidence. Silk primarily consists of 4 things: middleware for intercepting request responses, a wrapper around SQL execution for profiling database queries, a context manager or decorator for following blocks of code functions either manually or dynamically, a user interface for inspection and visualization of all of the above. So Django Silk, according to the documentation, is only tested with Django 3.2 or 4.1 and Python versions greater than or equal to 3.8. So the simplest route to get started with Django Silk is by using pip install. Just run the command pip install Django Silk and you're good to go. For those who need something more specific, like a particular version or branch, you can install directly from GitHub tags or branches. The flexibility ensures you can work with exact version of Django Silk that suits your needs. All right, so you have got Django Silk installed. Now you are eager to weave it into your project. First things first, hop open your settings.py file, look for the installed apps list in there, where all the app names are stacked up, slide Silk right in there. Now, while you are in the mood to tinker with settings, let's chat about middlewares. Ever wondered what a middleware is? So the middleware is a way to process request response before they reach the view or even after they leave the view. It can perform various tasks such as authentication, logging, modifying request response bodies or objects, making it more powerful tool for handling common web applications. In our purpose, it's our spy letting us capture detailed insights from each web request. So let's get our Silky middleware into the game. In the same settings.py file, you'll spot middleware list. Carefully add silk.middleware.silky middleware to it. But wait, a quick pro tip. Middleware order isn't just about neatness. It's about priority. If any middleware before Silky middleware decides to halt the process, our Silky friend won't even get a turn. So be mindful of that order. And if you are using another middleware that's all about encoding, always let it jump the queue before Silky middleware. Trust me, it will save you some pesky encoding hiccups. Yeah, so let's chat about customization in Django Silk for a moment. Imagine you have created a custom subclass of silk.middleware.custom silky middleware. Why might you do that? Well, suppose location every time a request is made. To integrate this custom middleware, there's there's a specific set of settings you need to tweak just like I've shown in the screen. With the right configuration, your custom middleware would seamlessly not just log the usual details, but also capture the user's location. This showcases the flexibility Django Silk offers, allowing you to tailor the tool according to your unique requirements. Okay, so once we have set up our middleware, there are a few more essential steps to unlock the full potential of Django. The first one is the user interface. To do this, we'll need to integrate Silk application URLs. To achieve this, simply add the designated path for Silk in your project's URL configuration. By incorporating this part, providing you a visual insight into your application performance and operations. All right, we are on the home stretch now. With a Django Silk setup, with everything in place, there are two critical commands we need to run. First, let's ensure Silk has its own space in our database. To do this, execute python manage.py migrate. This command will create all the necessary tables Silk needs to operate smoothly. Next, to make sure all the static assets are in the right place, run python manage.py collect static. This gathers all the static files and places them in our static root. All right, with all that said, you are now poised to uncover the mysteries of Django application with Silk. After following these steps, the magic moment arrives. Open your browser and navigate to /silk. What you'll see there is a powerful interface of Django Silk in action. You'll be presented with a detailed list of responses, request, including the title of each, the time of each request, the number of database queries involved, the time consumed by these queries, both the request and response headers, and even the content of the request and response bodies. And trust me, that's just scratching the surface. We have a lot more insights and features to delve in, which we'll uncover in the upcoming slides. Now let's dive a bit deep. From the overview page, simply click any individual request that catches your eye. You are immediately presented with a rich detailed report. You'll see all the HTTP parameters involved, the content of the request and response body, insightful data on latencies, and specifics on every database query executed during that request. It's an in-depth look that helps you understand and optimize each request journey. Isn't that handy? Another powerful feature of Silk is its ability to dive deep into SQL. For every request, Silk not only observes but also intercepts the SQL queries. This gives us a crystal clear snapshot of which tables the queries are interactive with, the number of joins involved, the time taken for each query's execution. And if you're curious about the nitty-gritty details, you can also pull out the raw SQL and see precisely when the query ran. The level of detail provides invaluable insights, especially when optimizing your application's database interactions. Now let's delve a bit more deeper with Silk. For those who truly want to understand the heart of your application's performance, Silk offers a unique perspective into Django ORM and why that's invaluable. Often the queries we craft with Django ORM seems perfect on the surface. However, when translated to raw SQL, they might not always be the most efficient or optimized. Identifying performance bottlenecks within these queries can be like finding needle in a haystack. This is where Silk shines. Instead of leaving you sift through lines of code, Silk directly highlights the exact segment responsible for generating a specific raw query. With this insight, you can focus directly on the areas needing improvement, ensuring your applications run smoother and faster. For example, a sneaky performance pitfall in Django, the n+1 problem. I'm sure a lot of people know about it. Imagine fetching a list of items. For each item, you also want to fetch some related items. The naive approach is to query for the list and then for each item, query again for its related data. The result, for n items, you end up making n+1 queries. This can significantly degrade performance, especially as data scales. But don't worry, Django offers mechanisms like select related and prefetch related to help you efficiently handle such scenarios. And Django will help you find these problems, like which are way more common than you think. Profiling. Profiling is the practice of analyzing and measuring the performance of a program or application to identify bottlenecks, areas of optimization. Profiling tool helps developers gain insights into runtime behavior of their code, including CPU usage, memory allocation, and execution time for specific functions or methods. Profiling is crucial practice because it allows developers to pinpoint performance issues, optimize code efficiently, ultimately deliver faster and more responsive software to users. It is an indispensable tool in the developer toolkit for achieving high performance application, and understand its principles to tools is essential for even scalable software systems. If you are keen on employing Silk's profiler throughout your application, there is a way to enable it globally. By tweaking a few parameters such as Silky Python profiler to true, you can set the profiler to run consistently across all processes. But that's not all. Once the profiler does its magic, it creates a .hprof file if you have enabled the binary variable. And now, for those unfamiliar with this format, it's a result, a visual representation of your app's, allowing you to spot bottlenecks and optimize more effectively. We also get a profile graph with the profiling feature. The profile graph visualizes the execution time of different parts of your code, allowing you to identify which sections are time consuming and which are not. This helps in pinpointing performance bottlenecks. How to read this graph? Let's get into that. So, nodes and colors. Each box or node represents a part of your code, a function, a method, or an operation. The color of each node indicates the time taken. In the graph which I've shown in the example, red signifies more time, meaning the redder the node, the longer the section of that code took to execute. Percentage of execution time. Inside each node, you'll notice percentages. This shows proportion of total execution time taken by a specific function or method. The value in parentheses next to the percentage provide a more detailed breakdown of the time. Arrows and flows. Arrows indicate the flow of the program. They show the order in which functions or methods call each other. Following the arrows can help you trace the execution path through your code. Now let's interpret the graph in example. Longest execution time. Look for the reddish node in the graph. The time.sleep function is the reddest, meaning that it is where the most of the time of execution is being spent. Code path, starting from the top node, base.py get response. Following the arrows to trace the path of event, this helps understand the sequence in which the functions and methods were called. And minor contributions, the options is to prune nodes taking less than 5% of the time, suggests that you can ignore the nodes and functions that contribute minimally to the total execution time for a clearer and a higher level view. While global profiling with Silk offers comprehensive insights, be wary, it's resource intensive. Profiling everything can quickly consume significant storage due to vast amounts of data generated. Instead, a more strategic approach is to focus on specific functions that you suspect might be bottlenecks or areas of interest. How do you do that? Simply use a decorator provided by Silk. By adding this decorator, a particular function, you ensure that only the function is profiled. This way, you target your analysis, save storage, and still get the insights you need. The same decorator isn't limited to standalone functions. If you have methods within a class that you'd like to profile, you can employ this decorator as well. This provides flexibility in pinpointing specific areas of your application for analysis, and the cherry on top, the visualization process remains consistent. Whether it's a function or a class method, you'll get the same clear visual representation to help you understand and optimize your code. Now let's touch on another powerful tool, the context manager. By employing a context manager with Silk, you gain the ability to add more context to the profiling name. Why is this beneficial? Imagine you are sifting through multiple database records and you notice some unexpected slowness. By having additional context in the profiling name, you can pinpoint exactly which records or operations are the culprits. It's like having a magnifying glass that zeroes in on performance hiccups, helping you address dynamic profiling. Picture this, you've got a function that's pulling from multiple system libraries. These libraries aren't part of your code base, and you might even just have read-only access to them. Yet you are curious about their performance. How do you peek under the hood of such functions? Enter dynamic profiling. With this, even if you're dealing with read-only libraries like Python libraries owned by root, you can still get the performance insights. The process is straightforward. Head over to your settings.py file and specify the module and function you wish to profile. It's a simple addition, but it opens door to analyzing functions which previously seemed out of reach. So even if a function feels like a locked treasure chest, with Silk's dynamic programming, you've got the key. Have you ever been stumped trying to reproduce a specific issue? The exact headers, the same body, it all matters when diagnosing a problem. Fortunately, Django Silk has got our backs. Not only can it capture all the nuances of a request, but it also provides a neat feature I'm sure many of you will appreciate. With Django Silk, you can extract a curl command directly corresponding to the particular request. And that's not all. It also furnishes you with the Django test line code, making reproducing the issue on another server or even your local setup a breeze. So next time you're scratching your head over a tricky request, remember that Django Silk offers you the tools to replicate it effortlessly. Okay, so now we'll talk about some best practices with Silk. In production, setting and ensuring our application runs smoothly is paramount. While tools like Django Silk provides invaluable insights, it's crucial to use them wisely so as not to inadvertently affect our app's performance. With that in mind, let's dive into some best practices for harnessing Django Silk's power in production without compromising our application's efficiency. So, the first one. When we integrate tools like Django Silk into our applications, it's natural to wonder, how is this affecting my app's performance? After all, Silk itself is running alongside your API, inevitably adding its own bit of latency. That's where meta profiling come into play. With Django Silk meta profiling feature, we can gauge the exact impact Silk has on our request and response times. This way we are not left uh, we are not left guessing. We can clearly distinguish between the inherent overhead of our application and the added latency from our performance monitoring tool, Django Silk. In the example in the slide, you can see 22 milliseconds is the latency of the application request and 7 milliseconds is the latency added by Silk. In a sense, metaprofiling provides a transparent lens, allowing us to see the real cost and benefits of using Django Silk in our production environment. All right, let's level with each other. As impressive as Django Silk is, it's not some magical entity. Like any tool, it consumes resources, and if we are not careful, it could affect our application's performance. So, should we be profiling every single request? Probably not the best idea for most scenarios. The good news is Django Silk is flexible. It doesn't lock you into a one-size-fits-all approach. Instead, it offers the capability to decide when the profiler runs. Based on your specific needs, you can craft your own logic, determining when to kick the profiler into action. Want to set this up? Just make a small addition by adding a custom logic as shown in the screen to your settings.py file, and you are in control. This way, you strike the right balance harnessing Django Silk's insight without overburdening your application. In a production environment, security and privacy are very important. The last thing we want is for someone to peek under the hood, accessing the insights of our APIs, and even worse, having the ability to replay those requests using the provided curl commands. So, how do we ensure that Django Silk insights remain confidential and are accessed only by the right individuals? Django Silk comes to our rescue with a built-in solution for authentication and authorization. It's essentially plug and play. To activate these security measures, just add the following to your settings.py file. Silky authentication is equal to true. Silky authorization is equal to true. With these settings in place, Django Silk tightens its access controls. And here's a handy note. If Silky authorization is set to true, by default, only users with is_staff attribute set to true will be granted access. That means you are ensuring that only your team members or authorized staff can delve into rich insights provided by Django Silk. While Django Silk provides strong defaults, we all know one size doesn't fit all. Need granularity or custom access controls tailored to your organization? No problem. Instead of just relying on the isStaff attribute, you can enhance your user permissions with a custom column in your user table. Then, with the simple modification to your settings.py file, you can define Silk permissions based on this new column. This flexibility ensures that you can define precisely who gets access to your Django Silk insights, aligning with your organization's unique need and structure. Limit storage. One thing to be mindful with Django Silk is its data storage behavior. Out of the box, Silk diligently logs both the request and response bodies for every single interaction. This can be immensely valuable for debugging and insights. However, imagine a scenario where your application handles large payloads or operates under significant traffic. This data can quickly pile up, potentially leading to substantial space and time overheads. Thankfully, Silk is built with flexibility in mind. You can fine-tune how much data it retains. For instance, the settings shown in the picture, you'll see the maximum request body size is set to be unlimited, while the response body is capped at 1024 bytes. You can use similar settings for your application according to your needs. Being aware of these configurations ensure that you strike the balance between capturing valuable insights and optimizing performance, especially a high volume production environment. Recording fraction of requests. So in a bustling production environment, efficiency is the key. While logging every request offers a comprehensive view, it can be overwhelming both in terms of processing time and also in storage space. Plus, there's an added performance overhead to consider. So what's the solution? Sampling. Instead of recording every request, why not just capture a fraction, giving us a representative snapshot? To set this up, Django Silk, in Django Silk, there's a straightforward addition to making your settings.py file as shown on your screen. By employing this approach, you get a balance retaining valuable insights without overwhelming your infrastructure. Flexibility is the hallmark of Django Silk. As you already know, beyond the default settings, you can introduce custom logic tailored to your application needs. Suppose there are specific requests you deem essential, while others might be routine and not worth logging. You have the power to decide. By integrating your own logic, you can fine-tune which requests get recorded and which one glides by unnoticed. This way, you keep your logs clean, focused, aligned, and what truly matters to your application performance and analysis. All right. Data inefficiencies can be elusive and often hiding in plain sight. Thankfully, Django Silk offers a powerful tool to tackle this query analysis. For the database management systems that can support it, you can configure Silk to delve deeper into your queries using advanced analysis features. By adding silky analyze queries equal to true to your settings or UI file. However, a word of caution, enabling this might cause some queries to run more than once, depending on your database backend. A classic example is the explain analyze command in Postgres. While it's a fantastic tool to understand query performance, it actually executes the query. So in scenarios where data updates are involved, this might lead to unintended outcomes. Always remember to treat carefully activate query analysis with full awareness and its implication, ensuring your database remains reliable and your data is consistent. In today's landscape, handling sensitive data is part and parcel of your work. But with that comes the responsibility to ensure that it remains confidential. Whether it's due to compliance requirement or stringent security protocols, some data should never be exposed. Django Silk understands this. By default, it automatically filters out values associated with certain keys, such as username, API, token, key, secret, password, and signature, ensuring that sensitive data remains masked. But the flexibility doesn't stop here. If there are specific keys unique to your application that you'd ensure that are filtered, it is as simple as adding them into this list shown on the screen. This feature underscores Silk's commitment not just to performance insights but also to data security. Let's touch on one final but crucial aspect, log management. While Django Silk diligently logs based on your settings, remember a mountain of logs accumulated over time can consume valuable resources. And let's be honest, holding on to logs indefinitely isn't always practical or necessary. The good news is Silk offers a straightforward solution to manage this. With a simple command, you can purge outdated logs, ensuring your system remains efficient. In my own experience, I've found it beneficial to automate this whole process. By setting up a scheduled job, I ensure the cleanup happens regularly, keeping things tidy and resource friendly. So, in conclusion, Django Silk shines as an unparalleled tool in the Django ecosystem. A few of its standout strengths include detailed profiling. It dives deep into each request, offers granular insights that few other tools can match. SQL query analysis, understanding the efficiency of your database interactions and intuitive visualizations. UI, the dashboard is not just powerful but also user friendly, making performance analysis accessible. Flexibility and customization. Whether it's the request filtering group or dynamic profiling, Silk adapts to your needs. Beyond these, the fact that it's open source, free, and built specifically for Django makes it indispensable. If you're aiming for peak performance in your Django application, embracing Silk is a strategic move. Here is the link to the Django Silk GitHub repository. Please go ahead and take a look at the repository and integrate it in your own Django projects. That is it from me. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them.
Thank you very much for an interesting talk. We have one question from Discord. Michael Toop asks, does Silk do memory profiling?
No, it does not. Like as far as I've used Django profiling, I wasn't able to find a way to profile memory in my application. So yeah.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Okay, let's thank the speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you.